Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the talk think show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so-called African American didn't find his way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous One. And I want to share with something today because I really want to pass this down to the generations unborn yet. And this is, you know, the way the world is going now and the way that the so-called African American has helped steer it, it's really embarrassing. So I just want to share some things with you that when you think you can see things clearer, when you don't eat out of other people's mouth like most African Americans do, because you have to remember, most African Americans, I'm not saying all, by no means, whenever you hear me say most, I'm talking about 90% or more. Most African Americans never think, they just do what they're told. I'm not talking about them. I'm not being mean. This is just how it is. What happens is when you tell them what's going on, they believe in the dumb shit that they believe, they want to keep believing it. So today I want to share with you some things that, hell, it's this simple. And what we teach our children, what we pass down to our children, our grandchildren, all it's going to do is ensure that they are in the same positions that we are now. That's all. So I want to share with you today some things that these are things that you can find and look for yourself if you're asking questions. And that's all we're here to do is get you to ask questions. Look at what's going on. Look at where we are as a group of people. I mean, a roach looks at their position and tries to ensure that their species continue on into the future. A rat looks at their position and they don't go to school. They don't go to church. Amen. They don't listen to cats telling them what to do. They look at their position from their own point of view. But somehow the African American Negro doesn't. Whatever somebody else tells them to do, that's what they do. And they won't get off that path. We never put two and two together, ever. We never ask, how is that possible? Especially in the media. Whatever the media says, that's what we believe in. No matter how stupid it is, we believe it. No matter how nonsensical it is, we believe it. So I'm going to get into this, and I'm sharing this with you right now. This is an image. This is a trip. So they always tell you that Africans were taken off the coast of Africa, and brought over here in slave ships. We don't question it. They show us some movie roots. We believe it. Not understanding how is the cat who wrote Malcolm X autobiography, he's a Navy spy. We don't know that. With all these so-called scholars, which is a joke that we have, we can't figure this out. This dude writes no, he didn't write it. He stole it. He plagiarized it. He had to make a public apology. You can find it. This is 40 years after Roots, and we still haven't done this. What you're seeing now is just images of ships and boats at sea. And this is not even where the supposedly slave ships came from. When I show you that, you're going to be like, how could I be so damn stupid to believe that? These are the ships that they showed you that your supposedly ancestors got out of and was fresh and ready to be sold on the auction block. This is the story you're told, and you pass down to your children, your grandchildren, and you happy about it. You proud. All the people that died. Really? This is what we teach our children because we refuse to think for ourselves. Call any African American or African scholar and tell them to refute what I'm showing you today. They're going to have that dumbass look on their face because they've been lying to you. See, the deal is to keep the indigenous people of America dumb. And boy, they've been doing a good job. And we've been helping too, and I'm going to show you how we've been doing it. We won't think. I mean, we getting mad. You know how we are emotional. We just get mad. That's our first instinct. Just get mad. Clapping our hands, shaking our head. And we teach our people, we have the audacity to teach our children this dumb shit. And arrogant about it. Happy about it. I know people 60 years old. You just hate your African self. I've been African, but I don't hate them. But that's the thing they try to put on you to get the heat off them because they know they about to be skull dragged. So what you're seeing here is all these boats and ships in this water. And as you know, if you didn't know, the ocean is unrelenting. And I'm going to show you how it is. And you're going to be like, damn, how did we believe this shit? These are boats and ships that are in the ocean. And you see, it's not like if we go out to the beach. It's not like that. When you get out there in the middle of the ocean, you are putting your life in your hands. That's one of the things that the ships and boats have today. They have weather tracking systems on them. Why? So they'll know what they're doing. They'll know where they're going. Because the ocean can shift in a second. Now, if you look at these boats and ships like these, you'll see that slave ships were about as big as these and weren't bigger than some of these. And they travel for what? 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks, some people say 3 months. In conditions like this, and got off the boat ready to be sold. This is what we teach. So we teach this. We don't do no research on it. We never do that. We just pass this down to our kids and everybody we know to ensure that they're stupid like we are. So you got 500 people packed like sardines in a ship like this, slamming against these waves, and you think you have a survival rate? Are you crazy? Yeah. But this isn't the worst part of it. This is, and call all your scholars, call all your Runoko Rashidis, all the John Henry Clark, all these shines that call themselves black. Call these people. Show them this and ask them. And all you have to do is ask them, why y'all teaching us this stuff? And we're going to get into that a little bit later. But check this out. Now we're about to get into the meat of this. We about to get into the meat of this. This is supposedly a slave ship. This is supposedly a slave ship. Imagine everything you just saw. Imagine everything, the boat slamming against the waves. Imagine these people are going through that in the trunk of a ship. Do you think they survive? I mean, come on. Damn, y'all. You think they're surviving that? Think about it. That's all you got to do. Think about it. I'm going to share some images with you guys. And hopefully these get you to think. I know many of you just believe, Jesus hand was in the water and guided the ship along, whatever you believe. But I want you to check out some of these images of your history, of the indigenous people here in America's history. And this is why you don't let other people tell you who you are. I mean, the African American does. He with it. The first thing, and I'm tired of hearing, because this is messing us up. This is messing us up. We refer to ourselves as Black all the time. Nobody has shown me anybody that's Black ever. Nobody has shown me a person or anybody that's Black. We're not into that. We're not into that. All we're into is whatever somebody call you nigga, you call yourself that. Yes, boss. All these people you hear calling yourself Black, the image on the right is what they saying you are. Now, if anybody show me somebody that looks like that, I'll give you $1. And if you saw somebody that looked like that, you'd be out of your wits. That's what other people call monsters in their fairy tales and in their myths. They call those people monsters, right or wrong. The image on the left is an image of a brother you would see walking down the street every day, a sister walking with her kid every day. That's what you see. Yeah, and you see it every day. You see it, you kiss it, you hug it, you make love to it, you create children like that, but still, you call yourself what is on the right. Those lives matter instead of your lives. Amen? Those lives on the right matter instead of the brother on the left. That's what you are. That's what you saying. That's what all this money making thing because that's all it is a money grab. And you ain't figured it out yet. You say the image on the right lives matter. And the image on the left don't. Sure, Funky Red Wolf. Send me your email address, brother, and we'll get to you. This is what we teach our kids. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. This is what we do. This is how we do ourselves. So we really can't say that other people are doing stuff to us because we right in the middle. You had those Black people on March on Washington, D.C. That was dumber than the Million Man March. And we fall in love with stuff like that. We can't explain why we do it. We just do it because boss told us to do it. So as you go through your history, which African Americans don't have no history. Their history started in the 1980s. As you go through your history, you will start to see that, well, how did we get in this position? And what you see now is what happened back then, because that's how they keep it going. They keep you in the same mindset that they had you in back then. I don't know what city this is, but I'm gonna show you another one that's like this. You see all the shines in the top hats. You see all the shines in the ties. You see them selling the brothers. This dude right here looked like he's selling his father. You see all these Negroes in the top hats and smoking the pipes and got the canes. They're emulating their masters. That's what they're doing. So you see the people on the street sick, and the kids around, the brothers around. This is a Negro who's trying to be one of them. All you have to do is look at those images and think. Now I realize that most of us, we don't have a mind of our own. If nobody is telling us what to do, we don't do it. But all you have to do is pay attention. Who are these cats in these canes selling these brothers to these white folks? These don't look like no Africans off no ship. No, these are indigenous men who are dogging you out, selling the women and stuff. Lying, shining, cooning. Don't you have these cats walking around today? Aren't these your politicians? Aren't them your politicians? How you know they are politicians? Because the politicians dress and act the same way today. I just told you that nothing's changed. They got to keep everything the same in order to keep you in the same position. And you love it. These are your scholars. Don't these remind you of the scholars that are always on TV talking that bullshit? And this is what we pass down to our children. Right? Amen? Come on, y'all know it's true. Here's another one. This is what I'm saying. All this stuff is this, and when the people say we're in the information age, they not lying. They not lying to you. You in the information age. You don't even care about the people who go out of their way to make sure you know this stuff. You would dog them out, won't you? You would dog them out. Here's another one. Here's another one of that image. See, now this is New Orleans. Same brothers in the top hats selling they mothers. Now these chicks are the same chicks that'll go fuck these dudes for $5. See, here's the brother. And see, I just put a new spin on it when I see an image like this, and hopefully you'll do it too. I doubt it. So this brother right here is selling fruit. I just say this is a brother selling incense. He poor, got the little locks going, selling incense on the street. These cats right here are your politicians, you know, the shines y'all love. Y'all want to ride in their car. And they over there selling their mamas and sisters to him, the person who they're dressed like. And you say we hate ourselves? This is what we do. Same shines who many of us send our children to go to school to be. See what they doing to the mamas and the daughters and their aunts, their friends, their girlfriends and wives. They selling them to massa. Same shit you do today. Exact same thing. Yet you try to talk like you smart and you intelligent and you got Jesus and all that other shit. This is what you do to your people. Slaves for sale, a scene in New Orleans. Huh? Then you try to, no. Now, how are these Africans? When did Africans get off ships and start selling, huh? But this is what you believe. This is what you believe. This is what you teach your kids, and you wonder why we in the position that we in. Let's talk about that. No, we can't, because when we talk about it, you will know Negroes skip right over this. They skip right over it. Right over it. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't show you the picture. My bad. I was in something else. But you'll get this. You'll get this. I'm gonna have to bring it back up because I lost it. I'll bring it back up. Here's an image, because we always say this is an image drawn in the late 1600s, 1690. I wish you could see it, but you can just pull up the image. You can go online and pull up the image. Say you're in the information age. This stuff is all around you. We don't know. We never know. I never saw that. You don't. This is what we do. And you'll notice in most of the images you'll see, people always say, and this is the thing that kills us. You got brothers talking all this stuff. The foreigners use what those brothers say is ammunition against you. Right? This is what brothers say all day long. This is what brothers talk about all day long. You hate your African self. Brother, we're not from Africa, dude. What are you talking about? We're not from Africa, dude. This is an image drawn from the 1690s. What's the white girl doing in the image? What did the white girls do when they came to America? They ran to be with them. Why? Because their men were dogging their ass out. But you love them and you run and lick them in the mouth, don't you? Read, go pull up books. I know many of us don't read. I don't have to read, nigga. You don't tell me what to do. You got people in your family that read. Start pulling up books from the 1600s and the 1700s and start reading what these people wrote when they first got here. Read what these people wrote about you when you first got here. You won't read that. You will listen to what he tells you. And you'll believe that, and you'll pass that on to your kids. And you do it with an attitude. You're arrogant about it. This piece is called Ancestral Tablets. William H. Whitmore. It's in Boston, Massachusetts. Just type that into the search engine, push go, and it'll pop up. That's how simple it is. We'll just believe and repeat something that we don't even know about. And when you ask the average Negro to explain what they're talking about, they won't. They won't. They refuse to. This is what I mean. This is what I mean about. This is what I mean about how our minds are just always. Our minds are just always. I don't even think our minds are taken. I think we give them away. This is what I mean by you have to think. You have to start thinking. Now, this is the image of the world. I'm not saying it's exact, but this is what I mean. We don't think about nothing. And if we don't think, we can't pass that on to our kids. So they will never think, which is what you have now. So what the so-called Native Americans, and they're not indigenous, all you have to do is ask them. When you see a Native American or when you're talking to a Native American on social media, you just have to ask them one question and they will scurry away. How come you don't never call yourselves just Americans? Why do you call yourselves Native Americans? They will cuss you out because you figured them out. Why would you call yourself Native Americans? What's up with the prefix? Why you got to have a prefix on it? Because they're not Americans. You are. But you don't believe it. You don't read. Somebody like me telling you, you will cuss me out. Dog me out. But the people who lying to you, you'll lick them right in the middle of the mouth. Won't you? So this is what I mean. Rats, ants, birds, they figure stuff out. They look at their environment and see what happens. So they tell these Negroes that they came from Africa. And this is the reason I was showing you the images of the books. The ships at the beginning of this broadcast. You see how they were going, the sea was rough. Now, this is the image of a map. And the red line is the equator, which means it divides the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. Now imagine we're spinning around on the globe. You're in the center of the earth. What do you think the water is going to be like there? What do you think the waves are going to be like in the center of the earth? And they're coming from the center of the earth all the way up here. What do you think the water is going to be like when they get out here? And remember, the earth so they say, the earth tilts at so many degrees. So what do you think? You're right in the center. What do you think the waves are going to be like on any side? And what ship do you think is going to make it? Before you answer that question, I'm sure some of you have family, friends, or whatever in the Navy. Ask them. Then, like JT say, ain't that the path of the hurricane? I even heard Dick Gregory say this, and that's why I'm saying you don't follow nobody. You figure it out yourself. Stop believing anything that come out of people's mouth. Dick Gregory said one time that the hurricanes follows the slave ships from Africa to America. The sharks followed the slave ships to eat the people. This is the kind of bullshit that we believe. This is where we are. This is what we believe today. 220. You're in the information age, and we thinking like we in the 1300s. So you got the ships, and well, how did we get here then? Dude, you was already here. You think this side of the world is populated and this side's not? This is where we are. We won't even think about it. What can we do to get back on track, Kia? Start thinking. Start taking care of your own people. Stop giving your money. I know you guys just seen this video where this sister's in a Chinese shop. The police come, the Chinese say she's stealing. She say, I ain't got nothing. The cop comes in, okay, if you ain't got nothing, show us. She goes through all this Negro minstrel show. Just show them you don't have nothing. But the number one thing, keep your ass out of other people's stores. You have made the world rich by wanting to buy other people, and you don't even support each other. Please, shut up. Stop going in their stores. We act like we cannot live unless we support other people. So this is what I mean. Check out what this person said. This is what I mean. This is what I mean. Sun, water, love. The earth is flat, not round. And so, and this is what I mean. This is what we're full of. Entertainers, and all you do is ask a question. Summer, water, love. If the earth is flat, explain Denver. Explain Mexico City. Explain cities that are 500 feet above sea level. Because when you say the earth is flat, you're saying that all the cities are at sea level. And you see what I'm saying? When you don't think for yourself, you just eat out of other people's mouth. This is what you get. It's not flat. They can tell you anything. And this is what I mean to the rest of you guys. This is where we're at. This is where we at. This is the mental. This chick might have kids, grandkids, great grandkids. What you think their minds is going to be like? So I always get this question. Well, how did they get here? And I'm like, dude, so you've seen the planet and you've seen how at the top, the North Pole is not as wide as down here at the equator. It gets smaller and smaller as you go up to the top. And here is Europe right here. Here's Iceland right here. You just walk right into America and come down the eastern seaboard. There's Florida right there. I mean, damn. No, I'm not offended when people, oh, she's talking to them. Okay. This is what I'm saying. We don't look at stuff for ourselves. We just wait till somebody come tell us, yeah, boss, you right. You don't think it's simpler? Here's Europe. They're supposedly built slave ships, came down this part of Africa. Remember how huge Africa supposedly is. Came down here, same ships came across there. And we believe that. We teach our children that, and be smart asses about it. Wouldn't it make more sense if Europe right here, all you got to do is sail across here to Greenland and Iceland, or sail around Greenland and Iceland, and you right here at America? I mean, god damn. Is that hard to figure out? And that what we, and you have, and don't ever believe that you're the minority in your own home. What place, and somebody tell me, what place on the planet do you go where the indigenous people are the minority on the planet? I'll wait. All what the African American does, they don't think for themselves. If his master don't tell him, it don't happen. That's in all areas of human activity, especially religion. Explain that. Explain why would the people leave up here that's closer to here than here. Explain that. And you can't, you'll get mad. So what normally happens is when a Negro says something and you ask them to explain it, they can't explain it because it's not there. They didn't figure it out themselves. They boss didn't tell them that. They don't explain it. They just get mad and go off somewhere else. They'll leave and, that's how the Negro gets down. These people build ships up here when at a time, It was against the law to chop down trees because the people was chopping down trees to keep warm. And we won't figure that out to save our lives. Oh, you're right, Copper Indio. I mean, and we're here today. What you just said, that's a lie. Boss didn't tell us that. And this is what we teach our children. This is why we're in the position that we're in with all this stuff. You just seen this cat that gets shot in the back, and LeBron James came. LeBron James is a coon. Listen to what they say. That's why they're always on TV. That's where they're always in the newspaper, to keep you confused. And we don't question it. We don't speak with other people. We just believe it. We just believe it. So coming to America from this route, instead of coming all the way down here and then going all the way across the Atlantic, that makes sense to the average African American. It makes sense. They'll scratch your eyeballs out if you tell them something different. And this is what we teach our children. I just want to share with you a couple of more images of, the people here in America. Just a couple of older pictures. Who was this? Who was the lady with the blue feathers on her head? And you can find, this is called an image, the reconciliation between Britannia and her daughter America. Now, I just want you to pay attention to the sister. I just want you to pay attention to the sister. All those other men that you see pulling at her, those are the French, the Portuguese, trying to pull her and Britannia apart. Why she's hugged up with Britannia, you have to remember. These are the images that other people were drawing about you when they got here. Is the lady with the blue feathers on her head, is that an African? No. If you look at her, if you look at her body, if you look at her hips, she looked like any sister walking through any of these 50 states who was indigenous to America, right or wrong. This is like I said, we're in the information age. This stuff is right at your fingertips, and you won't go get it. You won't go get it. If your children thought that this was their home, do you think we would be out killing each other? Do you think we would be out putting eyelashes and fake hair all over the place? Look at this woman's hair. This is her hair back here. We're ashamed of that, but we'll go to China to buy hair. We will go to China to buy. This is where you are today. Don't be pissed off. You better understand this and teach this to your kids, because they are trafficking your kids all through there. And one of the reasons your kids can get trafficked because you won't teach them nothing. Long as you can trade them and sell their organs and get you a new car, get you 100 pair of Nikes, You cool with it. Your ass gonna pay for that. You gonna pay for that. How is it that we don't know this? How come we don't know this? And to the people in the chat, all stop repeating what other people say. Go out and discover something for yourself. You have brothers that can take big wheels and make helicopters out of them. Why? Because they're thinking and discovering the stuff for themselves. Stop eating out of other people's mouth. You look stupid doing that, especially brothers. You, ugh, ugh. Oh, you just, well, here's an example so you won't just think I'm pissed off. Brothers, why don't you have your own basketball league by now? You will understand that they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that. What is this? Who's the cat in the middle? This is a old image, back when they couldn't spell. What is that? That's an African in the middle, or that looks like any brother you see walking down the street today. Hmm? Huh? Explain, please. Explain. How don't we never know nothing? Never know nothing. And arrogant about it, ain't we? Ain't we? Hmm? There you got the French, you got the Dutch, you got the English, all trying to get in on you. You put you on a top hat and a cane, and you start doing what they do. Teach your kids to do it too. That's how you're being eradicated. When you read the Georgia Guidestone and they say they got to take the population down to 500 million, who you think they're talking about? Hmm? Who you think they're talking about? That's your people right there. Yeah, JT, know every new dance though. These you're in the information age. This stuff is a click away. But you want to go look at some booty. You want to see some naked chicks running. That's where we. I know brothers 60 years old that's all they do. That's all they do. Here you go, right in the middle. You will kill him out and say that you came from Africa and that ain't your people. Ain't that what the Negro does? Right or wrong? Ain't that what you do? Ain't that what you do? Hmm? And wonder how all these foreigners coming over here and slap the shit out of you, dog you out. Who gives them that chance to do that? You do. You do. Who is this? Who is this? Who was that? Who was that? If the picture wasn't so old, she'd be one of my cousins. And everybody says that. The picture that I showed you, Britannia and her daughter America, that look like most sisters you see every day. But we hate our African self. No, you hate yourself. That's why Africans come over here. They don't claim you. Was talking to an old friend of mine. She's in her 60s. And she's been on the African kick for a while. And I told her something that makes sense. I mean, simple sense. And she knew she was lying and she didn't want to get it. I told her, if you're African, because you say you're African, why don't you go down to that place called Africa Town near Mobile, Alabama, and take a DNA test against those people down there? Since they're from Africa, you don't have to get a DNA test. She pretended, like most Negroes do, like she didn't know what I was talking about. Why I gotta do that? Because you said you came on a boat, Oprah, with them. If they're Africans and you guys take DNA, you guys would share the same DNA test. She pretended like she didn't know what I was talking about. She pretended like she didn't know what I was talking about. See the baby on her back? If that baby was born today, he would be taught he was an African. And it's probably one of your grandfathers or grandmothers. This is what happens to us. We don't know nothing. We act like we don't gotta know nothing. We act like what we done learned in school is what all we need to know. And this is why what is happening to you today is happening. You won't do a genealogy. You won't. Simple. Like I said, you in the information age. All this stuff, you Egyptian, you Hebrew, you a Moor, and you turning your back on all these images I just showed you. Right? Right? And that's what you do. So what do you think is going to happen to you? What do you think is going to happen to you? I got to show you this last one. No, I showed you that. I showed you that already. What do you think is going to happen? All these foreigners coming over to your land, that lady's land, all the land, this is the land of all the images that I showed you. You have all these foreigners coming over here, converging on your land, and you're letting all the foreigners know that this ain't your land. My land is 5,000 miles away in the desert somewhere. That's what they think when they see you. And what Renzo Duckworth says, he said, we're in the information age. We have information right in the palm of our hand. And when I see people on their cell phones and stuff, they looking up the stupidest shit. The music that we listen for real, cuz. This what we listen to now? This is how far we fail? Just on that alone. Your arts. What you write about. You go into a bookstore, all you seen is How I Married a Pimp. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? Right or wrong? If this woman was here in the 1900s, if this woman was here today, she would teach her little son that he's African. That's what you doing today. Ain't it? Ain't it? Why would you do that? Why would you treat your children like that? Why would you do your children like that? On purpose. Why would you do that? You have all these people coming over here, setting up shop. You went over to help kill them off in Vietnam, and now they running your industry down in New Orleans. This is what you do, right? Ain't that what we do? Huh? Here's another image. Explain to me. Explain to me. How are those Native Americans? How are those Native Americans? And how do these African American shines tell you from Africa? The Native Americans come and claim that they're those people. And the African American Negroes stop hating your African self. Explain that. Explain that. Explain why do you do that to your children? Explain why you call yourself black. Explain that. I'll put it back up. Explain why you do that. That's the legacy you're leaving your children. That's the legacy you're leaving your children. Why? Why would you do that? On purpose. Won't go, you on your way to school, you sitting on the bus, all you gotta do is pull up Indigenous Americans. This pops up. So this is what I mean about how we don't think for ourselves. And brother, this is no way trying to dish you or nothing like that. But this is what I mean by us not knowing. We don't know shit. And we think we do, but we don't. And we go spreading it amongst everybody, making us dumb. We ain't even the same species as Africans. You right. We are native. You wrong. You see, that's what it means when you talking out both sides of your mouth. Natives. You must have just got here because I asked you, why do Native Americans, how come they simply don't call themselves Americans? How come they don't call themselves Americans? I don't know. You never do. Native, and you all know this. I don't care how dumb you think you are. What's the biggest thing that shoved down Negro's throat? Jesus. Amen. When Jesus was born, what do they call that? The nativity scene. And like this brother right here just said, I ain't even gotta say it. He said it. That's all native means. Born somewhere. It don't mean it, and that's why they don't call themselves Americans, because they're not from here. They're from somewhere else. That's why I'm tripping out, because they just talking about getting rid of the Native American, the Washington Redskins image, but those are Native Americans. And the Negro haven't said open their mouth about it. That's one thing about a Negro. He keeps his mouth shut. That's one of the first when you're describing a Negro, an African American, a black person, they don't open their mouth to say shit because they don't know nothing. And then they pass down to you what they've been told. Amen. These people that you see on the screen look just like, come on, man. Come on. They don't look like nobody else in the world. Everybody has their own phenotype. Everybody has their own way of looking. They may look at like some of the people in the, on the Hawaii side. They may look like some of those people. Papua New Guinea, people in the Pacific. They're different people. They eat different food. They was brought up in different parts of the world. The dogs over here are not the same dogs that are in Europe. Poodles weren't found over here before they bought them over here and started cloning them and what everything else. And we never figure it out. Why? Why? Come on, we supposed to be thinking, alert, on top of things, people. How come we did? I mean, this is simple stuff. This is simple stuff. How come we never know? How come we don't know? How come? Why don't we? And now that I'm sharing this with you, and this is and I've seen this, and now that I'm sharing this with you, many of you still gonna say, man, you guys, man, I was listening to this thing today, man, this nigga was just bullshitting, lying. And I'm just giving you, it's simple. This is simple. And we won't even share with our kids. We won't even share with our kids. I'm gonna end with this one. And I hit on it a little earlier, but this is what really pisses me off about the so-called African American. You have the world. You tell me what country in the world isn't in America right now. You tell me what country in the world the Negro over here doesn't support and love, and they can be whatever they want to be. You tell me what country that's over here now that the Negro don't support more than he support his own. I'll wait. This is a Washington Redskin. I know many of you know this. This is the logo for the Washington Redskin helmets. The Native Americans said they were offended. Well, why would you be offended on something that's not you? Guess what the so-called African American said? What they should say all the time. Nothing. I bet we have 120 people in here listening right now. I bet at least 3/4 of you that look like your granddaddy. Tell me I'm lying. But other people can come, what's that, appropriate your culture, make you run off and take somebody else's culture and hate that one. That's what African American is today. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? So, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today. But take this and share it with your kids. Share it with the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year olds. Negro that's over 50, they probably won't get it. They Africans. They so confused. They don't, it's like you say, baby, you in the information age. You better make sure your kids get all the information that's out there. Because what's being thrown on you now is to make you dumb. And like I said, and I want to give my condolences to my homegirl, just said her nephew was killed. This is what we do. We help them with their genocide. Don't say we don't, because you went to Vietnam and helped killed up them people. That's what Muhammad Ali told you not to do. You didn't. I'm fine. I can do whatever I want to do. You went over to the Middle East in Iran and Iraq and helped kill those people off. And you don't think for 1 minute that they're over here and they not saying, we gonna get them niggas back. And you go into their stores and supporting them. They fucking your women in their stores, right or wrong. That's where you are. So look, share this with the youth. Thank you, Rainstorm, and thanks for all the people who support and, send a donation. Really, really appreciate it. If you can't see the handwriting on the wall now, I feel sorry for you. If you can't see where it's time for you to partner up with all these people I just shown you, with all these indigenous people over here, I feel sorry for you. If you're one of those people that think you can do whatever you want to do because you grown and nobody can tell me what to do, your ass gonna pay. We'll see you next time. Peace.